Hello and welcome to today's flight. Today we're going to fly from Tacoma Narrows Airport to Sanderson Field. That's about 37 nautical miles direct. And we're going to file an IFR flight plan, and we'll be using PilotEdge today. So let's go ahead and build the flight plan. So Kilo Tango India Whiskey to Kilo Sierra Hotel November. And we're going to look at actual routes that have been filed with ATC and accepted in the system. I think we'll probably end up doing this one right here, this ULES. So I'm going to select that route and add it. So you can see it's KTIW ULES. Let's look at ULES waypoint. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so it's got us doing a reverse there at ULES, a procedure turn here using the hold. Let's go ahead and look at procedures for approach. And let's plan on doing runway 5 from ULES. We'll add that to the route. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to do a course reversal there from the ULES intersection. I'm also going to fly this in the real world airplane and share some of that video footage, and we'll kind of overlay that in with this video when we're done with it. So that's what we're going to file with PilotEdge, and then we're going to go ahead and ask for our clearance takeoff, and we'll be recording the flight. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so there's a projected image of my iPad, and it shows the route of flight. It's also got the approach plate overlaid and geo-referenced over our chart. So I'm going to change this into IFR low altitude chart right there. And let's look at the entire route. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And let's go ahead and get our clearance from PilotEdge. So I'm going to turn that radio on, and since we're at what they're treating as a non-towered airport, I'm going to tune to 122.2 and ask for clearance. Shuttle departure Cherokee 7428 Romeo on the ground to Tacoma Narrows Airport, IFR to Sierra Hotel November Airport, ready to copy.
7428 Romeo, Seattle Center, standby. 7428 Romeo, clear to Shelton Airport. Tacoma Narrows 1 departure ULES, direct, maintain 6,000, departure frequency 120.4, squawk 4260, hold for release.
Okay, 742 at Romeo is cleared to the Shelton Airport via Narrows 1 departure, ULES direct, 6,000, 120.4, 4260, hold for release.
47 Romeo, read back correct device ready.
Wilco 2 at Romeo. That's our before takeoff checklist. Toe brake set. Recording equipment, I'm recording obviously, and seats and seat belts, trims we're going to check. And those are set neutral. Cabin door, we're going to latch tops and bottoms. Bring that back up. Flight controls are free and correct. Directional gyro is set. I'm going to double check that. Heading bug set for our departure 250 for the Narrows 1 departure. Artificial horizon set. Altimeter is set to field elevation. Fuel quantity is sufficient and balanced. And we are set right tank. Full tank primer is in and locked. Mixture set full rich and 1800 on the RPMs. Right magneto check. Drop up about 75, back to both. Left magneto, same drop, 75, back to both. And we're going to check our carb heat. Should be a slight drop in the RPMs. And there it is. Oil pressure, fuel pressure, oil temperature in the green. Gyro section gauge in the green. Check and idle. Looking good at about 650 and back to 1,000. Going to go through our checklist here. Alright, so throttle 1800, mags checked, carb heat checked, engine instruments checked, vacuum checked, ammeter checked with load. Going to turn the landing light off briefly and back on again. That's looking good. Throttle 1000, fuel pump on for takeoff. Fuel pressure read check, that's looking good. Radios and avionics. We're set 122.2, that's our departure frequency, 120.4. Transponder is squawking altitude. Squawk code 4260 is set. Devices, I'm going to check and see if we are connected. It looks like just X-plane is connected. It should also show, well, it should also show my my Garmin device. I'm going to try to connect that right now. That's been a little finicky lately. It says it's connected. Let's double check that. Yeah, it's not. It's not a major issue, so I'm just going to continue on here with my checklist. For-flight map and route are set. Lights are set. Flaps confirming. Set for takeoff. Cabin door is latch, tops and bottoms. Window secure. Fuel selector timer time is noted. And we are ready for release. Okay, so we're ready to get a release. Let's take a look at the narrowest one departure. So I'm going to bring that up here on our iPad. So I have KTIW, narrowest one departure, right there. And we're going to be departing runway 17, climb runway heading until leaving 1,500, turn right heading 250. We would maintain 2,000, except they cleared us for 6,000. So that's what we're going to do for the departure. Close that. Now let's go ahead and open up the Sanderson Field approach. That's going to be the RNAV RWY, and that's where we'll be doing. They should have us cross ULES at or above 3,200. Then we're going to do our course reversal right here, and then come in. Once we hit ULES, we're going to descend at or above 2,000 by the time we reach Imini intersection, however you say that, and then down to 1340 or above by Alare, and then continue to our minimums, which is LNAV MDA of 800. So that's going to be the plan. Let's go ahead and get our release. Shuttle departure Cherokee 742 at Romeo, ready for release. We'll be departing runway 17.
742 at Romeo, Seattle departure, release for departure, clearance void if not off in 5 minutes.
Release for departure, void if not off in 528 Romeo. Alright, I'm going to stop briefly on the
Sky High 096 here with Albuquerque Center.
On the runway and bring up 4 flights. You can track our flight as we fly along. It's 4 flights to me disappearing from time to time as I interact with the simulator. Alright, I'm going to hold right here, check our directional gyro. That said, I'm going to bring up our 4 flight. And there's the map. Center it with where we are now and orient it toward directional flight. Alright, feet off the brakes and full power. Engine instruments in the green, power available for takeoff. Airspeed indicators live. And off the ground, runway heading 1,500. And normally I would put this in an IFR view, which is this right here. So I'm limited to instrument reference only. But since I flew this flight, or I'm going to fly this flight in a real-world airplane, I'm going to be flying it in VMC conditions, so I'm going to replicate that in the airplane. Okay, coming up on 1,000. Runway heading, everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and bring up 4 flight again. Right, there we are. The green ring there is our glide distance. If we lost an engine and we were gliding at best glide speed, which is 85 miles per hour, that would be our glide radius, constantly changing as we clear terrain. Coming up on 1,400, 100 to go, and then we'll make our right turn 250, continue climbing. Standard rate turn to the right, which is about 17 degrees. Gonna hold that right there, continue our climb, roll out on heading 250, climb 6,000. And then I'll get over with departure. Coming up on 2,000. And rolling out 250. And over to departure.
Charlie, Roger, you can expect that.
We'll expect it, 43 Charlie.
And 3 Bravo Victor, you said you had the field? 3 Bravo Victor, radar services terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
South departure Cherokee 742 at Romeo out of 2,500, climbing 6,000.
November 742A Romeo, Seattle departure ident.
Albuquerque Center, Sky High 096, canceling our IFR, Taos Regional.
Sky 096, IFR cancellation received.
096.
Number 2A Romeo, radar contact 2 miles west of Tacoma, and clear direct ULIS, climb maintain 6,000.
Clear direct ULIS, climb maintain 6,000, 2-8 Romeo. So we're going to activate our approach. 244 degrees. Direct ULIS, distance 35 nautical miles, 29 minutes. That'll improve once we level off. All right, we're still in a climb, so 84 over ground, 90 indicated. $4,000, $2,000 go. I'm going to go ahead and lean the mixture for best power.
Eugene, clearance, Skyhawk 512, Tango Foxtrot, would like to request VFR flight following when you get a second.
Okay, 17 minutes to ULIS.
Number 512 Tango Foxtrot, Eugene, clearance, go ahead.
Yes, sir, would like to pick up VFR flight following to Portland, Papa Delta X-ray at 3,500, type Cessna 172, and we have Zulu.
November 512 Tango Foxtrot, departure frequency 119.6, squawk 7060.
Sanderson
FLD, 119.6, squawk 7060, 512 Tango Foxtrot.
Visibility 5.
Tango Foxtrot, read back correct.
Sky conditions 1,600 scattered, 5,800 broken, 10,000 overcast, temperature 7, dew point 6. Altimeter 2931.
Boy, yesterday's flight, if any, you get a chance to go on my YouTube channel and take a look. I flew over the Olympic Mountains. About 10,500 outbound, 9,500 on the return flight, and it was absolutely spectacular. Views of the Olympic Mountains poking through a cloud deck, all covered in snow. The rugged peaks. I flew over a section that has very jagged peaks, and turned the airplane around around Mount Deception in the Olympics, and some ham radio contacts from the air. So if any of you get a chance or interested in looking at that, it's really worth a look. I think you'll
Albuquerque Center, Sky High 096. I'd like to pick up our IFR clearance to the Taos VOR.
This makes for some really good training in flying. When you're in and out of clouds, where the cloud texture constantly changes, it's very disorienting. So it's good training because it causes you to really focus on your instruments and try to ignore all the changing conditions outside the airplane. That's kind of what we're flying in now, so it's really, really good. And we are flying real world weather. And sometimes these cloud decks can be very, very deceiving. What looks like a horizon out there, I've seen it happen where that cloud deck is at a slant, and your brain's trying to tell you to follow that as if it's a horizon.
Hello, Tower, Cessna 328 Romeo, holding short to runway 27.
While trying to maintain.
Number 3281 Romeo, hell on the tower, proceed on course, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Level flight because you're trying to follow that cloud
Runway
deck
27, clear for takeoff, proceed on course, 328
so
Romeo.
again, it's really good training. Airplane's acting as if I'm picking up a little icing. I'm going to go ahead and put my pitot heat on.
Number 43 Charlie, turn right, heading 070.
Carb heat.
070, 43 Charlie.
Yeah, I think we're definitely picking up some icing here. We're full throttle. I'm going to ask for a descent. South departure Cherokee 742 at Romeo. Request lower altitude due to icing.
742 at Romeo, maintain 4,000.
4,000 to 8 Romeo.
November 90943 Charlie, you're 3 miles from Ewok, turn right, heading 130. Maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS, runway 16 right approach.
Turn right heading 130. Maintain 2000 till established on the localizer. Cleared for the 13 right approach. 43 Charlie.
Eugene Tower, Skyhawk 512, Tango Foxtrot, holding short of 16 left, ready for VFR departure.
512 Tango Foxtrot, Eugene Tower, right correction, left turn on course approved, runway 16 left, clear for takeoff.
16 left, clear for takeoff, left turn on course approved, 512 Tango Foxtrot.
Yes, I was at full throttle and unable to maintain altitude. Hopefully 4,000 will do it for us. They do have a minimum vectoring altitude that they can't go below. I'm not sure what that is here in this sector, but if we need to go lower, he may not be able to give us a clearance to a lower altitude. And he would have to cancel radar services, so. The outside air temperature is right about where you don't want it, close to 30. I'm going to start in some power here now. Bring the airplane just a little bit to the right. Reduce my rate of descent. Boy, the trim is already up quite a bit. Let's see if I can maintain 4,000. I might not be able to. Yeah, see where our angle of attack is. CL departure, 28 Romeo is unable to maintain altitude 4,000. Get a clearance for lower altitude.
28 Romeo, I can only get you down a couple hundred more feet. Are you declaring an emergency?
That's affirmed. We're going to have to turn to Rex Anderson. Right now we're unable to maintain altitude due to icing.
28 Romeo, roger, turn right, direct Sanderson, advise the airport in sight, and the altimeter is 2930.
2930, right turn, direct Sanderson, 28 Romeo.
Romeo in the airport. When you roll out of the turn, it'll be 12 o'clock and about 5 miles. When able, stay souls on board, fuel remaining in minutes.
Souls on board, 1. Fuel remaining, 3 hours. 28 Romeo.
Roger. November 90943 Charlie, contact Payne Tower. November 90943 Charlie, contact Payne Tower.
Alright, so looking at
2 Tango Foxtrot, contact departure.
Contact departure, 512 Tango Fox.
The inbound course of 048.
Departure, Skyhawk 512, Tango Foxtrot, climbing 2,900 for 3,500.
Just
November 512 Tango Foxtrot, Cascade departure, radar contact.
Down to close to 30 nautical miles. We're able to maintain 2,500. Looks like the ice is probably breaking up at 2,500, so we should be good to go. All right, I'm going to begin descending because it was Alari. 1340 was the altitude by Alari, so I'm going to start descending here. and hopefully we get good visibility.
For 2A Romeo, safe flight conditions.
2A Romeo still IMC, starting to break out.
For 2A Romeo, roger. It looks like you're able to maintain 2,500 there. Olympia weather looks a little bit better, and I can at least get you at a lower altitude if you would like to head there.
Okay, 2A Romeo for now is going to pick up the RNAV approach from Alari intersection. I think we could probably make it in from there.
Verify RNAV 23 into Sanderson is what you're planning.
05, 2A Romeo.
Roger, unable vectors inside the final approach fix.
Understand, 2A Romeo. There's the runway. All right, so we're going to go flaps. South departure, 2A Romeo has the runway. Should be able to make it in at 05.
For 2A Romeo, clear visual approach, Sanderson Airport.
Cleared visual, Sanderson, 2A Romeo.
2A Romeo, and report your cancellation on the ground on 122.2. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Cancel 22.2 over to advisory, 2A Romeo.
$500. Sync rate, sync rate.
Auburn, I got the go around traffic site.
Well, that didn't go as planned. I wanted to fly the full approach, but actually, in a way, I think this was better training because that could happen in the real world airplane. I'm usually pretty careful about taking off in icing conditions at altitude, but I didn't see that in the weather briefing, but it happened, so we dealt with it. Controller did a great job, so I commend him for the work that he did there in helping us get down to the ground safe. South departure, Turkey 7428 Romeo on the ground, Sanderson Airport. Cancel IFR, please.
742 Romeo IFR cancellation received. Good day.
All right, let's bring up ForeFlight and take a look at what happened here. The only thing that I would like to have done a little sooner, let's look at our full flight path. So, okay, there's us. We departed Tacoma Narrows right here. That's the Narrows 1 departure. It cleared us direct ULIS. That's what we did right here. So that's the flight path direct to ULIS. And then right here I was having trouble maintaining altitude. There's a Lari waypoint. So I declared an emergency here. He cleared us direct Sanderson Field, so I made that turn. But instead of going direct to the field, my preference was to intercept the RNAV inbound.
Hey, ground, Cirrus 99 and 43 Charlie, just talk.
So anyway, I had a fair amount of altitude to lose here, so I started to descend. The only thing I wish that I would have done different is right here when you go to profile view, it's going to show all the terrain out in front of you, and that's something that I would like to do sooner rather than later so that I know if I have terrain clearance as I begin my descent. I did it, but I did it a little later than I wanted to or should have. So anyway, I intercepted the inbound course from the full instrument procedure, which, let's see what that looks like on the plate. So right here, normally you would cross ULIS, reverse course inbound 048 descend, and reach 2,000 by Imine and 1340 by Alari. I was at 2,500, close to 2,500 when we got pretty close to Alari, so I had a lot of altitude to lose, and I was still IMC. So I was below his minimum vectoring altitude. He couldn't clear me in, so I was basically on my own at that point. Was able to get down with a steep descent below the deck, the cloud deck, so I was in VMC, had a lot of altitude to lose, went full flaps, cut the power, and I was descending at about 2,000 feet a minute to get it down. Now, alternative to this, I didn't necessarily have to complete the landing. I was in visual meteorological conditions. I could have done a circle to land. I could have stayed in the traffic pattern and came around and landed, but I went straight in. I didn't want to get myself back into trouble. So we were able to get on the ground safely, and the controller did a great job assisting us in the emergency. I think that's maybe only the third time I had to declare an emergency while using PilotEdge. So again, I commend the controller in that situation. It was a great experience. Thanks for joining me on today's flight, and hope to see you again next time.